You know that feeling when you skip something small, a coffee, a subscription, a dinner out, and a tiny voice whispers that it doesn't matter anyway. That voice is lying to you, because the most boring decision you make this month might be the most powerful one of your entire life. Most people think wealth comes from one big swing, a hot stock, a perfect raise, a lucky break. But here's the thing. The real money hides somewhere far less exciting. 11 years ago, a guy decided to redirect $340 a month into things nobody brags about, no flashy purchases, no yacht photos, just quiet, repetitive, almost laughably dull moves. And what happened next is the whole point of this video. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about money habits, compound math, and why boring is secretly the most underrated word in finance. If you're someone who's tired of feeling broke despite doing everything right, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you want your future self to actually thank you. So let's talk about why boring feels so bad in the first place. Your brain is not built for this. It runs on survival mode. For most of human history, spending energy on something with no immediate payoff was a fast way to end up as a snack for something bigger. So your lizard brain craves the dopamine hit. The new thing. The instant reward. Saving $340 gives you nothing today. No buzz, no applause. It's the financial equivalent of watching paint dry. And I get it. That's exactly why most people quit. Think about the last time you tried to build a habit. The first week feels pointless. The results are invisible. So your brain files it under waste of time and pulls you back toward the confetti cannon. And here's what makes it worse. Society rewards the loud spenders. The new car gets compliments in the driveway. The vacation gets the likes. Nobody throws a party because you quietly moved money into an index fund, so the one behavior that actually builds wealth is the one that gets zero applause. We've rebranded patience as boring and impatience as living your best life. That's the trap. Spending money on instant joy feels like firing a confetti cannon. Loud, colorful, fun, everyone looks. And then the confetti hits the floor and there's nothing left but a mess to clean up. But the boring choice does something else entirely. Stick with me, because this is where it gets really interesting. Every dollar you set aside is a brick. One brick is nothing. You can't live in one brick. You can't even brag about it. But you stack one every single month quietly, and you're building something, a wall, a structure. Something that stands behind you when life throws a punch. Now let's actually run the math, because feelings don't pay your rent. $340 a month. That's it. That's roughly $11 a day. The price of a sandwich and a soda. For most people, that's the difference between a slightly fancier lifestyle and a slightly plainer one. Nobody downgrades their whole life over $11. That's the magic. It's small enough to ignore, which is exactly why it works. And think about that for a second. $11 is what you'd hand over without blinking. You spend it and forget it by lunch. But that same $11, pointed in a different direction, quietly turns into a decade of momentum. Same money, wildly different ending. Put that into a basic index fund earning around 8% a year, which is close to the long-term average of the US market. Now watch what 11 years does inside that number. After year one, you've put in about $4,000, and you barely see growth. Boring. After year 3, you've contributed around $12,000, and it's worth maybe $13.5. Still boring. You'd be forgiven for quitting right here. This is exactly where most people bail. 3 years of effort, and the reward is a few $100 of growth. It feels like the math is broken. It isn't. You're just early. The bricks are stacked, but the wall isn't tall enough to lean on yet. Patience is the entire price of admission, and most people refuse to pay it. But here's the kicker. By year 7, your contributions total about $28,000. The account, though, is sitting near $37,000. The growth is starting to outrun your own deposits. The wall is building itself now. Let's add this up. By year 11, you've personally put in roughly $45,000. But that account? It's worth somewhere around $72,000. You created $27,000 out of thin air, out of sandwiches you didn't buy. Let that land. $27,000 that you never earned at a job. You never worked an overtime shift for it. You never asked a boss for it. It showed up because you were patient enough to leave a pile of bricks alone. That's like planting a tree and coming back to find it grew a second tree next to it, for free, while you slept. And here's the part the calculator doesn't show you. That $72,000 keeps compounding whether you add to it or not. The bricks you laid in year 2 are still working today. You hired money, and it never asks for a day off. Now you might be thinking, 72 grand is nice, but it won't change my life. Hear me out, because something bigger happened along the way, and it has nothing to do with the dollar figure. You became a different person. When you commit to a boring habit for over a decade, you stop being someone who reacts to money and become someone who directs it. The panic fades. The constant low-grade money anxiety, the kind that wakes you up at 3 a.m., starts to quiet down. Imagine you're sitting there 11 years from now. A surprise bill lands. The car needs a transmission. Your old self would feel that cold drop in the stomach. Your new self barely blinks. You've got a wall behind you. That's not just money, that's a personality transplant. Now you might be thinking that 11 years is a long time to wait for that feeling, and I get it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Those 11 years are going to pass whether you build the wall or not. You'll be 11 years older, either way. The only question is whether you arrive there with a pile of receipts or a pile of bricks. And the wild part is, the discipline leaks into everything. People who quietly save for years tend to negotiate harder, quit toxic jobs faster, and sleep better. Research shows financial cushion is one of the strongest predictors of overall life satisfaction. Not income, cushion. Think about it this way. The money was never really the prize. The money was the side effect. The real prize was becoming someone who can sit still while everyone else panics. Someone who sees a sale and feels nothing. Someone who watches the market dip and yawns. That calm is worth more than the $72,000, and you can't buy it. You can only build it, one boring month at a time. So let's bring this down to the ground, because $11 a day still has to come from somewhere real. This is not about eating rice and beans in the dark. Let me give you permission to enjoy your life. You can still take the trip. You can still buy the nice coffee sometimes. You can still have a life that doesn't feel like punishment. And that's okay. The 340 just comes from the leaks you won't even miss, the subscription you forgot you had, the third food delivery this week that you ordered out of pure laziness, the upgrade you bought to impress people who weren't paying attention anyway. Let's stack it up, just to see. 2 streaming services you never watch, that's 30. A daily coffee run, that's 90. Food delivery fees and tips on lazy nights, easily 100. 1 impulse buy you regret by the weekend, 60. An app subscription auto-renewing in the dark, another 60. Add those up and you're already past 340. And not one of them made your life meaningfully better. Think about your last month. Be honest with yourself. Actually, let me put it this way. There is almost certainly $340 hiding in your spending that brought you zero lasting happiness. Picture 2 versions of you, same income, same job. One fires the confetti cannon every month, the other lays a brick. 5 years in, they look identical, same apartment, same car, but one of them has a wall growing in silence. That's the whole difference. Invisible, until suddenly it isn't. Alright, real talk. What's the one boring money habit you keep telling yourself you'll start next month? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Now a warning, because this is where people blow it. The danger isn't the market crashing. The danger is you. The boring strategy only works if you don't touch it. Every time you borrow from the wall for something shiny, you pull out a brick. And the cruel part is, you don't just lose that brick. You lose every brick it would have created over the next decade. I'm not saying you can never spend. I'm saying respect the wall. Automate the 340 so it leaves before your brain can fire the cannon. Make it boring on purpose. Make it invisible. The best financial decisions feel like nothing while you make them and feel like everything when you look back. And here's the thing most people miss. The wall doesn't punish you for pausing once. It punishes you for the story you tell yourself afterward. I'll restart next month, becomes next quarter, becomes next year. The habit doesn't break in one big moment. It erodes one excuse at a time. Protect the streak like it's the most valuable thing you own, because financially, it just might be. That's the secret nobody puts on a highlight reel. Wealth is not built in dramatic moments, it's built in the dull ones you almost didn't bother showing up for. 11 years from now, you'll either have a pile of cleaned up confetti or a wall you can lean on. The choice gets made $11 at a time, today, while it still feels like it doesn't matter. If this changed how you think about the boring stuff, pass it along to someone who needs to hear it. Their future self is counting on it too.